Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we will be covering SQL data query language, also known as DQL. And by the end of this session, you will understand how to retrieve data from a database using SQL queries. Let's get started. DQL. So you learn how to retrieve data using select, filter data with where, sort results with order by, limiting results, limit, using aggregate functions, counts, sum, average, mean, max. So we are going to look at this. Data query language. So we've done DDL, DML, I've explained DCL. Now, the last one is DQL. So we'll be focusing today on DQL, retrieving data. What is DQL? DQL, data query language, is used to retrieve data from a database, filter and analyze data, generate reports. DQL helps you ask questions and get answers from your data. So we have the select statement, purpose, used to fetch data from a table. So the purpose of a select statement is to fetch data from a table. The syntax can say select. So you now use the select keyword is used to select the column you want to retrieve. So you can say select column 1, column 2 from. So the from keyword is used to reference the table you want to get the data from. Please take notes. Now say example select. You say select first name, last name from employees. So when you say select, what I'm saying here is that select the column first name and the last name from employees table. So that is what this means. When you use this asterisk, this star, this means that you are selecting all the columns. So let's look at the example. I will launch my workbench. So I'll come here. I already have my table created. I've created my table. Okay, the table is not created yet, but I have my create table queries ready. The insert query ready. So let me create it. I'll just create my table. Okay, it's saying that it's asking for a database. Now, no database is active. So you say use, you now choose a database. So I'm going to use this particular database that we'll be using. You can see now the database is active. So I can now create my table. So my table has been created. If you refresh, I now have two tables. The one we'll be using students table, and now we have a new table known as employees, which we are going to be using for this particular topic. That is why I did not create the employees table earlier. I changed it to the students so that when I come to this topic, I can now make use of the employees table. So now I'm going to insert these values. So you know how to do that one now. So I've written down everything. I'll just insert it. So correct. So now let's get started. I've used it already, but you might not know. So I think I've used you've seen me use something like this. Select asterisk from, I used to say students. Okay, if I run this is going to return all the columns from the students table, right? So if I change this to employees, Look, I can bring this down here. Let's just do it like this. You can put it in the same line. When I say select, this asterisk means that select all the columns from. Use from now the tables I want it. I have two tables. So I want to select, I want to see all the columns from employees table. So if I run this, you can now see I have the first name, I have the ID, first name, last name, age, salary, department. So I have this. So now I'm selecting everything, all the columns, to return all the columns from the employees table. So now, if I say select first name, select first underscore name, comma, last underscore name, comma, age from employees table. So what this will do is that it's going to return the column which is the first name, last name, and the age. It will return salary, department, and ID. You can see now, just turning the first name, last name, and the age. So the select statement is used to select the column that you want to return. Then the from the table you are trying to get that from. So now you can see, used to fetch data from a table, the select statement. Now we have what we call where clause, purpose, filters, records based on conditions. We've used this already when we did that update and delete. We've used this. Like I said, if you don't use the where, you are going to delete everything or update everything. So this where clause will help make us to be specific with what we want. So now I have select everything from employees where age greater than 20. So let's look at 25. So let's look at this. So if I add, okay, let me change this to, okay, let's say select everything from employees table and now say where age greater than, what was that? Where age greater than 25. Okay. Now say 25. So you can put semicolon or you cannot put, but some SQL softwares you have to put it like I said earlier. So now I'm saying that select all the columns from employees table where the age greater than 25. So this is going to return records that the rows that the age is greater than what? 25. You can see now, you look at all these people, you look at their age. Let me zoom in a bit. These people now, if you look at their age, you will not see age that is, you will not see the age that is below 25. So you won't see it. The age that is 25 or below 25, you won't see it. So that's what that means. So let's look at another thing. We say or and or conditions. So I will say select everything from select all the columns from employees where age greater than 25 and salary. So let me just copy this one and put it there. So now let's look at this. Select all the columns from employees table where age greater than 25 and salary greater than 50,000. So this is just a normal English words. So it's going to return is going to return the rows, the records that the age is greater than 25 and the salary greater than 50,000. So let's run this. You can see now, look at these people and their age. Their age greater than 25 and their salary greater than 50,000. So if you are working in a company, you want to see the people, you only want to see the records for the people that their age is greater than 25 and their salary is greater than 50,000. So this is what to do. So let's look at another thing. Okay, let's look at this one too. So just take your time and write it out. Say, select all the columns from employees table where department equals to IT or department equals to HR. So this particular one here is going to return records that the department is IT or HR. So if you can meet one of these conditions to return it. So if I run this, you can see it's either the department is IT or HR, no other department here. It's either IT or HR. If you look at this, it's either IT or HR, no other departments. So that's what that means. So let's look at another one. So we have order by. We have order by. What's the purpose of order by? To sort results. To sort. Just like you use sorting in Excel. So this is what order by is going to do. So let's copy this and take it to our workbench. So now you can type it out. Select all the columns. This asterisk stands for all columns from employees table. Order by salary descending. What this means is that it's going to select all the columns from employees table. You now sort it by salary descending. So starting from the highest salary. So let's run this and see. You can see now. Let's zoom in. You can see it's starting from the highest salary, come down, starting from the highest salary down. So till you get to the lowest salary. So for ascending, you use ASC for ascending. So it will start from the lowest salary down to the highest salary. So that's what order by does. Now, you can see ASC ascending, DESC descending. We now have limit or top. For my SQL workbench, we are going to use limits. But there are some SQL software that are going to use top. So the purpose of this is to restrict numbers of records returned. Like, for example, you want to return only the first 5 rows, the first 10 rows or records. So that's what this is going to do. Select all the columns from employees, limit 5. So it will return only the first 5 rows. You see now we have like 50 rows here. If I run only this one, you can see we have 50 rows in this particular table. So if I add this limit, it's going to return only the first 5 rows for us. If I put 10 here to return just the top 10. So that is the work of limits. We proceed. Aggregate functions. Aggregate functions used for calculations, like if you use count, sum, average, max, mean in Excel. So in SQL, you can do that too. So let's look at it. Let me put it like this. If I run this, it's going to show us the average salary. Okay, let me return it. Let's look at this first. I will now say select, then average into bracket the salary column. So just like you do sum, you now put into bracket that annual salary column earlier in Excel. So just like you did it there. So this is actually what is happening here. And now say select average and now put into bracket from where the salary column, because this column contains salary. So if I run this, it's going to return the average salary for us. To return the average salary for us. So you can do the same for sum. So this is the sum. We just sum everything for us. You can see now, just sum everything. You can do for minimum salary. You can see this is the minimum salary. We check that our date table. This is a minimum salary. Okay, let's look at the max salary, maximum salary. So this is a maximum salary. So this is a maximum salary. Then you can do count. I can use count. Count is just to count the cells for us, like we did. Total of 50. Like I said, we have a total of 50 records, 50 rows. So that's what count does. So you can see how you can use aggregate functions in SQL. I think it's getting exciting, right? So we now have group by purpose, groups data for analysis. Just like what we did in pivot table. This is what is going to happen here. No pivot table. This is just like we say select department, comma, and now say count everything from employees, group by department. So if I run this, it's going to do what? Select the department table, just list out the departments and now count for us. IT has 11, HR 10. So IT has 11 employees, HR 10, finance 11, marketing 9, sales 9. So just like we did in pivot table, we drag the department to the rows to just list out the department for us. And now we now drag the that thing that identify whether the employees to the values, and it will now. So this is what is happening here. This is exactly what is going on here. So here you just say select that department you want to list, then count. You just say count everything asterisk from which table? The employees table. Group by department. Group by department. So that's what group by does. So you just practice and practice. We now have having clause. So let's use with group by to filter group data. So let's look at having. So I'll paste it. Now say select department counts, just like we did with group by, counts everything from employees, group by department. So having counts greater than 5. So it's going to show me the departments that have employees greater than 5. I think if you look at this one, that returns everything. All the departments, they have employees. They have more than 5 employees. So let's use greater than 9. Return only the departments that have employees greater than 9. You can see now it's returning IT, HR, and finance. It did not return other departments like, I think like this one. It did not return marketing and sales. They have less than 9. So it's only returning the departments with employees greater than 9 for us. So that is what having does, having clause. So it will help you to filter group data like it's being explained in our slides. So that is it. Best practices: avoid select asterisk in production. So avoid it. Can be specific with the columns you want to return. Use where to filter early. Index frequently required columns. Use aliases for readability. Okay, thank God that this is mentioned. So let's look at what is aliases. Then let's look at that. Aliases is used to give a column a temporary name. Let's look at what we have here. Okay, I'll change this to sum. Look at what I'm going to have here. You can see the name of this column. I can change this to total salary by the use of alias. So if I use AS, so I will use AS and now say total salary. Total salary. So if I run this, so I will change this to, I will now use total salary. If I run this, can you see the column name has been changed to total salary? So that is the work of alias. So let's look at this one too. Which one again? Okay, let's look at this. Let's have something like this. So I can change this to, AS, employees. Let's just say name underscore of name of employees. So instead of returning first name, it will now show name of employees. So if I run this, you can see here name of employees. But without the alias, it's just going to show you first name. But with the alias, it will just show you name of employees. So that is the work of aliases. So practice exercise. You create a table and you now select all the records, filter employees with salary greater than 50,000, sort by age, group by department. So final summary. DQL helps you retrieve data using select, filter data using where, analyze data using group by functions. So master DQL, data insight power. So if you master DQL, it will give you that data insight power. So that's all about DQL. I think the last topic in this SQL categories. So that is the last topic in this SQL categories. So we have treated all the topics that you need to know, like DQL, DDL, DML, and I also explained DCL. So that is it about SQL categories.